Well, hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News 9 Live, and that's the question that we're trying to probe today. What's the reason behind our dying and ever so poisonous Yamuna? Because it's important to know that in the 2000s, many in the national capital did not even know where the Yamuna was located. 2 decades down the line, we know that Yamuna exists, but our perception and the outlook towards the river body has changed. It is dying by the day, and the ecology around it is turning poisonous. Here's what's the latest. Water supply in many parts of Delhi is set to take a hit as water treatment capacity at 2 major water treatment plants has been curtailed to just 25 to about 50%. Why? Well, because according to the latest readings, the level of ammonia in the river Yamuna is unprecedented. Take a look at this. At 8 particles per million or milligrams per liter, it's the highest recording of ammonia levels. Last highest recording was in April 2022 when it was about 7.5 particles per million. And here's what's worrying. 2 major water treatment plants only have the capacity to treat 1 milligram per liter. And this unprecedented rise in toxicity levels has hit water supply in many areas, including VVIP settlements in the national capital as well. Supply is going to be available at only low pressures till the quality of the water improves. Meanwhile, Delhi's Aam Aadmi Party and Haryana's Bharatiya Janata Party governments continue to blame each other for the clear public apathy. And here's what the Delhi Jal Board had to say. It said due to high levels of pollutants and more than 8 ppm, which is particles per million of ammonia in river Yamuna at the Wazirabad pond, production has been curtailed to 25 to 50% at 2 water treatment plants. Water supply will be available at low pressure from the evening of April 3rd till the time situation improves. Now, till ammonia levels reduce, plants will not be able to work at required capacity. Hence, the public is advised to make judicious use of water. The Central Control Room helpline numbers have also been given out in the statement by the Delhi Jal Board. But the bigger question being, when will these politicians stop with their false promises? When will words finally turn into action? How to balance sewage treatment and toxic waste disposal? And can the entire Yamuna ecology be reimagined, or has that ship sailed, albeit on dirty water? News 9 Plus has also documented why the once pristine Yamuna River is now a dying poisonous water body with heavily pollutants inside the water body, symbolizing nothing but clear administrative apathy. We'll discuss more in just a bit. We've got the man behind the story and an environmentalist with us on the show. But first, here's a snippet of the docufilm. Take a look.
Where is the river? That's the question you have to ask.
पानी तो बहुत गंदा है, क्या करें, लाचार में नहाना पड़ता है।
अब पहले अच्छा मच्छी मिलता था, अब नहीं मिलता, अब गंदा पानी आ रहा है।
क्या वादे किए थे भैया आपने?
जो हमने वादे किए थे मैं अपने मोबाइल फोन में लेके घूमता हूँ।
केजरीवाल जी, मैं आज आपको यहाँ से चुनौती देता हूँ, शर्ट निकालकर जमुना जी में डुबकी लगा दो, जरा आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा जमुना जी का पानी कैसा है।
The 1,400-kilometer long Yamuna begins its journey from the melting glacier of the magnificent Yamunotri. Situated amidst the southwestern slopes of the lower Himalayan region, the Yamuna is considered as one of the holiest rivers in India. Running parallel to Ganga, the mighty Yamuna then passes through the Indo-Gangetic plain, cutting through Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Haryana. It is after this breathtaking journey that the river enters its dark stage. Once considered as a nectar from heaven, it has now been reduced to a dying, poisonous water body.
We see this river as something which has to be only be utilized in a certain way, either for sewage or for water flow. We don't see the river as an ecological landscape, which it is. So I think the problem is to reimagine the river in a different way before we think of the solutions to the symptoms of the problem. I think these are both symptoms of the problem.
The sewage plants of Delhi can treat up to 1,270 million litres of dirty water per day. But Delhi discharges more than 2,000 million litres of sewage into Yamuna every day. 300 million litres per day is contributed by industries, and the remaining 1,700 million litres is sewage discharge from houses. Think of it as 760 million bottles of dirty water being dumped into the river each day.
Well, there's an age-old saying, flowing water never goes stale, but that's the problem with Yamuna and with the government. In fact, there is neither any direction nor flow when it comes to Yamuna. The water, when it enters Delhi to the point it leaves Delhi, has no flow. It's completely stagnant. Now add that with human waste, industrial waste, and the garbage that has been dumped on a daily level. Now this is one of the biggest reasons why Yamuna today is deteriorating, and today it has gone to such an extent where scientists have even gone on to say that bathing in Yamuna is going to be hazardous for human beings. So you can imagine at which level Yamuna is today. This water that you see has been taken from the Yamuna that flows from Haryana, and this water is taken from the Yamuna that is in Delhi. The difference in the color itself can give you an indication at the level of pollution that is there in Yamuna.
I remember in the early 2000s, if we talk about the Yamuna, many people in the city did not know where the Yamuna was. Now people know there's Yamuna. So there is, now you can say it's a very slow change, but I will not say there is no change. This whole raising voice and then political parties also gaining has made some difference, but I think it's not enough. This difference, you can say, is the small baby. We need to have a full-fledged mature adult, and there's a long way to go.
Well, so you can download our application News 9 Plus. It's on the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store for other cutting-edge documentaries as well. But circling back to the question of what's killing our Yamuna, we've got Vikrant Tongar, who's an environmentalist from the SAFE NGO, which stands for Social Action for Forest and Environment. Many thanks for joining with us. But let's first quickly go across to the man behind the story, Mohammad Wajiullah, a special correspondent on the ground. Mohammad, talk us through what do you think is the prime problem at the moment? We saw you compare both the waters. We saw you spoke about the dirty politics behind this already dirty water. But what's the prime problem right now? Already we're seeing the water supply is being hit in various parts of the national capital.
Well, the real problem, according to me, is the lack of political will. Be it any political party that has governed Delhi for the last 30 years, have always promised the citizen that they would clean the Yamuna. Be it Sheila Dikshit's government, be it the present Arvind Kejriwal's government. In fact, the present Arvind Kejriwal's government has been promising a dip in the Yamuna for the last 8 years. It started in 2015 and today it's 2023, and just a few days back again he had promised to people that I will also take a dip in Yamuna after cleaning it, and I will make sure you will also be able to take a dip in Yamuna. But all these promises have never been fulfilled. These are only words that have been. So the biggest problem that Yamuna is actually facing is a lack of political will. Apart from that, the other problem that we see in Yamuna is that the industrial waste, the household waste, the pollutants that go inside the Yamuna is especially between that 22-kilometer stretch after Haryana, when the river enters Delhi from the Wazirabad barrage till the Okla barrage, which is a 22-kilometer stretch. That particular stretch is the most polluted stretch. It is 2% of the entire Yamuna, but it consists of 80% of the entire pollution. So that stretch is something that has to be cleaned up, because the entire pollution comes from the industrial in the Wazirabad region, the drains from the Najafgarh area, and these are unchecked sewage waste that enters into the city. The visual that we're seeing on our screen, that is what happens when the pollutants enter into the river and it's unchecked. So that is one thing that has to be checked. when it comes to cleaning it, we cannot say that yeah, you cannot clean Yamuna. Because if you remember when we were under lockdown during the COVID times,
Right.
and if you'd seen Yamuna at that point of time, Yamuna had cleaned itself drastically because the industries were shut, pollution wasn't entering the river, and that was one of the most significant points in the entire cleaning of Yamuna, that itself cleaned itself. Cleaning is not a difficult task; it's the lack of political will, Kabir.
All right, let's cut across to our environmentalist on the panel as well. Mr. Tongar, what do you have to say when you're looking at the recent statement by the Delhi Jal Board? It's talking about 8 ppm, that's particles per million, when ammonia is being recorded. The last time, a similar frequency of ammonia was recorded was last year, and that was also 7.5. Now, water supply has taken a hit. Toxic metals in river Yamuna. I mean, where is it that we're going wrong here?
बिल्कुल बतौर एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट हम लोग इसको बहुत एक तरह से बहुत एक बड़ा जोखिम मान रहे हैं रिवर हेल्थ के ऊपर साथ ही साथ क्योंकि बहुत सारे फार्मर्स इसके ऊपर डिपेंड है केवल दिल्ली की बात नहीं है दिल्ली के डाउन स्ट्रीम में नोएडा मथुरा और आगे जब तक ये यमुना में मर्ज होती है रिवर तो दोनों तरफ आप देखेंगे पूरा एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है तो बहुत बड़ी फार्मर कम्युनिटी इसके ऊपर डिपेंड है दिल्ली की आम जनता इसके ऊपर डिपेंड है सप्लाई वाटर यहाँ से दिया जाता है तो ये जिक्र किया 8 ppm तक जा चुका है और ये हर एक साल बढ़ता जा रहा है क्योंकि इसके अंदर इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट काफी आ रहा है जो कि हरियाणा और दिल्ली दोनों का इसमें कंट्रीब्यूशन है तो बहुत सारे लिटिगेशंस गए हैं एनजीटी ने काफी डायरेक्शंस दी है लेकिन रिजल्ट जीरो है बल्कि और माइनस में नेगेटिव रिजल्ट्स आ रहे हैं तो इससे अंदाजा लगाना चाहिए कि हमारी जो पॉलिटिकल विल है जो हमारा पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम है वो इसको लेकर के कितना सीरियस है और अभी जो मैं विजुअल्स देख रहा हूँ या लोगों में जो चर्चा का विषय है इस समय वो दो चीजें दिल्ली में यमुना को लेके है एक तो अमोनिया का लेवल हाई है दूसरा ये जो फोम झाग जो दिख रहा है वाइट
जी
वाइट छठ पूजा पे भी अभी कुछ ही महीने पहले इसके बारे में काफी डिस्कशंस हुए थे नेशनल इंटरनेशनल मीडिया में भी तो ये फोम क्या है ये डिटर्जेंट्स है ये इंडस्ट्रियल जो डिटर्जेंट्स हैं वो है जो इंडस्ट्रीज से आ रहा है इसके साथ साथ जो घरों से जो डिटर्जेंट्स निकल रहा है फॉस्फेट है बेसिकली ये जो फॉर्म सफेद झाग जो दिख रहा है तो इसको रोकना है तो इसके लिए डिटर्जेंट्स के लिए ऑलरेडी पॉलिसी बनी है जो यूरोप में स्टैंडर्ड है कि डिटर्जेंट्स में
Well, it seems like we're having technical difficulties with Vikrant Tongar, but some real red flags that the environmentalist has raised. Mohammed, circling back to what Vikrant Tongar was talking about, the embankment, the entire soil area, that is also heavily infused with toxic metals. In the documentary, we saw people, cleaning out vegetables with the same water, saying that nothing happens, this is what we do every day. And the oxygen levels, the depleting oxygen levels, how can that be countered? It seems like, it was already put forth by various legal and judicial systems as well, institutions, that these rivers are breathing and living bodies themselves. These are living organisms. And the oxygen level in these living organisms is depleting by the day. How can that be countered?
Well, Kavi, before I take that question of yours, it's very important to complete what Vikrant was saying before his network went off. That the detergent level that we see in Yamuna that is getting deposited, it's actually, there is a rule that, like he was saying, the foreign countries follow that. They tell the detergent company to use different form of ammonias, which the Indian government has not been able to convince its own detergent industries. And that is one thing that affects the river very badly because the ammonium level that we are talking about right now, just to give a sense to our viewers, is 8 part per million, which is the ammonium level currently, which is super high. And the accessible limit or the permissible limit of ammonia in a drinking water should be 0.5 ppm, which is 0.5. And the Delhi Jal Board has the capacity to clean at least up to 0.09 ppm. So you can imagine we have our ammonium level has increased by miles 8. It's at 8 ppm. So you can clearly get an idea at the level at which it's polluted. Apart from that, like he mentioned, be it the industries in Haryana, be it the industries in Delhi, they go unchecked. and all the waste enter into the Yamuna River, that entire 22-kilometer stretch which passes Delhi. And because of that, we've also lost the entire marine life in Yamuna. When I spoke to the fishermen over there, they used to tell me there was a point in time when the fish that they used to get in Yamuna were fresh and it was nice. Today, you don't get fish in Yamuna. It's very difficult to even do that. Apart from that, the food, the vegetables that are grown with that water, right next to, if you pass the Yamuna Express Highway near the Akshardham building, you will see that entire place is the floodplains. Now, those plains are expected to be empty, but you would see agricultural farmers growing things over, crops over there. Now, that is a part of the river and it is equally polluted as the river. And that same water is being used to clean that vegetable or grow that vegetable. And that adds on to a lot of diseases in the humans. You're capable of getting cancer, you're capable of having heart blocks because of all these pollutants. So this unchecked pollution that is rampant in Yamuna is a big concern to the people of Delhi, because our sewage plant system, there are 35, out of which 9 are capable of doing this. So you clearly get an idea at the level at which the Delhi Jal Board is functioning, the agencies are functioning. There is no single body that is working. Close to 6,000 crores has been spent so far. But still, this is the visual that you're seeing. That is the result of what's happening in spite of spending so much money.
Absolutely. And I mean, Chhat Puja after Chhat Puja, year after year, it's the same, issue that is being used for political mileage as well. I'm being told that Mr. Tongar is with us on the phone line. Mr. Tongar, क्या आप बता पाएंगे, समझा सकते हैं दर्शकों को इस समय कि हरियाणा की भाजपा सरकार, दिल्ली की आम आदमी पार्टी सरकार एक दूसरे को इस ब्लेम गेम में, इस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की टोपी इधर उधर अदला बदली होती रहती है, लेकिन फाइनली कोई भी पॉलिटिशियन, कोई भी नेता अकाउंटेबल नहीं खड़ा किया जाता?
बिल्कुल, देखिए साल में कई बार ऐसा ब्लेम गेम चलता है पूरा, लेकिन पब्लिक को राहत नहीं है। अभी जो ऑनरेबल सीएम है दिल्ली के, उन्होंने 5 एजेंडा बताए थे कि कैसे वो यमुना को साफ करेंगे। पूरा एक प्लान डिस्कस किया था मीडिया के साथ, आम पब्लिक के साथ, लेकिन उनमें से मुश्किल से ही कुछ ग्राउंड पर दिखाई दे रहा है। तो पॉलिटिकल विल कुछ थोड़ी बहुत सीएम के लेवल पर है, लेकिन जमीन पर कुछ उतरता हुआ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा और यमुना की स्थिति साल दर साल बदतर होती जा रही है। अब बात हम हरियाणा की करते हैं। देखिए, हरियाणा में ऑलरेडी यमुना की बेहतर स्थिति है, तो उनको कोई इससे इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा पड़ नहीं रहा, लेकिन उनका इंडस्ट्रियल पॉल्यूशन जो है हरियाणा का, वो डाउन स्ट्रीम में आके यमुना को दिल्ली के स्ट्रेच में पॉल्यूट कर रहा है। तो हरियाणा और दिल्ली को आपस में अच्छा तालमेल बिठा करके, जिसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एक अच्छा रोल निभा सकती है। ऑलरेडी एनएमसीजी यमुना की क्लीनिंग के लिए काम कर रही है। एक बहुत बड़ा एसटीपी सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट ऑलरेडी जल्दी में ही इनॉग्रेट होने वाला है दिल्ली में, यमुना के किनारे। तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का रोल भी यहाँ काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है। स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी प्रोएक्टिव अप्रोच ले और यमुना को साफ करने के लिए आगे आए, पॉलिटिकल मतभेद भुलाते हुए, क्योंकि ये अल्टीमेटली जनता के हित में है। अगर इसी तरह वाटर सप्लाई हिट होती रही अमोनिया का लेवल बढ़ने से या फॉस्फेट का लेवल यमुना में बढ़ जाने से, तो एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि दिल्ली में पानी का बहुत बड़ा क्राइसिस पूरे साल बना रहेगा। अभी क्या है, सीजनल प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन ये पूरे साल प्रॉब्लम बन जाएगी अगर समय रहते हरियाणा में इंडस्ट्रीज में और जो दिल्ली में इलीगल और लीगल इंडस्ट्रीज में, क्योंकि दिल्ली में बहुत सारे इलीगल इंडस्ट्रीज में उनका भी इन्फ्लुएंट आता है। इन दोनों तरह की इंडस्ट्रीज को इन दोनों स्टेट्स में बहुत ही प्रोएक्टिवली काम करना होगा, साइंस बेस्ड अप्रोच लेनी होगी। केवल पॉलिटिकल वादों से ये चीज नहीं हो पाएगी, तभी दिल्ली की यमुना की सेहत में कोई सुधार होगा।
Well, absolutely. So, major red flags being raised there by Mr. Tongar as well, saying that more needs to be done. What is being done is not enough. Mohammad Wajihullah, we're at a real shortage of time. Very quickly, across your reportage and on the ground, when you were trying to speak to people, the amount of awareness in the people, do you think that is something that is lacking? And if that is not the case, then what else needs to be done? Really quickly.
Well, you're very right. The awareness at the local level is not there at all. You see every day when you cross the Yamuna Express Highway, you will see people throwing garbage, people throwing dirt inside the river from that bridge. And that has not been stopped. Just before the G20 summit that was happening, we've seen soldiers being deployed there to make sure that people don't dirty the Yamuna. So it clearly gives you an idea that nothing has been done at the local level, like Mr. Tongar has pointed. And then the people who live near the Yamuna continuously dump their waste inside Yamuna. The industries dump their waste. So while the CMs and the PMs and the ministers have been talking about it, nobody on the ground is actually working to make sure that the Yamuna is clean.
Well, absolutely. It has been a riveting conversation. Of course, a mere, 30 minutes is not going to help us decode what is exactly killing our Yamuna, and importantly, what needs to be done to stop our Yamuna from dying and going into this poisonous stage as well. It has been, really interesting to speak to both of you. Mohammed Wajullah, it's a great story that you covered. I'm going to implore all the viewers out here to download the News 9 Plus application and check that white froth black truth story. It's only on the News 9 Plus handle. And of course, Vikrant Tongarji, always a pleasure speaking to you as well. Well, the bigger question is that we must now put focus on when these words will finally turn into action, because without that, we cannot save our Yamuna, the great Yamunotri, once pristine. The nectar, it falls down, and by the time it reaches Delhi, it's called the dark stage of Yamuna. And it's imperative that we collectively as a society work towards the river body's betterment. Thanks a lot for watching this episode. Lot more content on the other side. Keep watching News 9 Live.